Hello, I'm Father Brad Benson of Trinity Episcopal Church in Seneca Falls. I'm coming to you again from my dining room, and yes, it's snowing on Good Friday. Today, we ponder Jesus' death. Before I was ordained, I tried to talk God out of calling me, and one of the arguments I used was that I just didn't deal with funerals very well at all. Since then, I have lost count of the many funerals and graveside services that I've officiated at. And I have to say that now that I'm very grateful for all those funerals, for it is often in the death of a loved one that we are closest to God. We are in the midst of a pandemic where the deaths are mounting up in an alarming way. By the end of today, there may be over 17,000 deaths in the U.S. I now know some of the people who have died, and I know some of the people who have recovered. Deaths make us pay attention. This could be because death is so intimate. Death makes us completely vulnerable and embarrassingly honest with ourselves. There's no falsehood in death. There's usually no props, and no amount of fame or wealth or intelligence does us any good in death. Death is raw humanity. We are so completely helpless, often dependent upon forces outside ourselves. Death is vulnerability, and no death showed us total vulnerability more than that of Jesus. There's no sugarcoating it. His was a brutal, brutal death. I've been to Jerusalem and have seen the proximity of where Christ was crucified. It's not up on a tall hill looking down on the city like in the movies. It wasn't a tall cross like in the movies either. Jesus was crucified just outside the city wall near one of the gates, which is now right in the middle of the city of Jerusalem. It would be as if he was crucified on the corner of Fall and Ovid streets here in Seneca Falls. As that is a busy intersection, we all would be able to pass by and literally look him in the eye. Think about it. Could God have been more in our human realm than that? Now, if someone just walked into this story right about now, that person might think that death is winning. But if they were to continue to listen through Sunday morning, they would learn that the chaos of evil did not win. God is in control. God has got this. Yesterday, I spoke of God as a God of illogical surprises, and those of us who know the rest of the story may have lost the element of surprise, but the impact is still powerful. God comes to us in the most human, dramatic way in death, and then in his rising, reassures us that we now have nothing to fear. Hope is at hand. And that, my friends, is good news in this present moment. One wag I heard once upon a time said, if Easter happened just before winter, there wouldn't be a Christian faith. And I have to admit, it's easy to personify Easter by drawing attention to those things that have appeared dead down in the ground, such as daffodils and tulips and crocuses, that are now beginning to pop up. This day, death becomes holy. God is showing us that in order for there to be true life, something must die. There simply isn't resurrection without death. You cannot rise up until you've been down. We're all watching our gardens, watching for things to come back to life after winter. And we are waiting for this pandemic to subside. There can be holiness in dying, not for the beauty of the death itself, but for the emergent life, the bud, new life rising, going forward. And while it's hard to feel it in the midst of a pandemic and on a snowy day, the Easter season comes. And we have that holy second chance again. In the tradition of the Good Friday hymn, Were You There?, I really think that Jesus is asking us, are you there? Today we gather around the empty but expectant garden beds of our lives. We thank Jesus with every atom of our being for all that is dead in our lives, because now there can be a pathway to new life, a life that we yearn for more than anything else. Beloved, celebration is coming soon. Patience. God bless you.